Do you believe in miracles? We got Fizzle in the house. Fizzle, what's good, man? Fizzle, glad to have you here.
Let's go. This the South Harmon Podcast. Glad you here today. Hit that Patreon link if you here to stay. Dynasty best ball, that's my favorite way. 40 chess trade show. Let's make a trade today or check a AMA. You know Adam at the ATM. Mike always in the building. He gon' stay with him. They gon' start every show off with their own trade. Fantasy's a big ocean. They made their own wave. Make sure you tapping in Tuesdays and Saturdays. Tuesday night, Saturday morning, ain't no better way. Hit that notification bell when the news break. Go subscribe right now, don't get the news late. Destination Devy, that's the team. Dynasty Football, man, that's my favorite thing. I remember Biggie said it was all a dream. Now people watching on their phones and computer screens. Welcome to the team. Let's start the show.
What's up, everybody, and welcome back into the Dynasty Trade Show. I took the week off last week because I was at training, learning how to do my real job better. Brandon did a fantastic job filling in for me. That's our guy, but I am back this week. Trade show. Adam, I missed it, man. I missed you guys. I missed doing it. I love breaking down Dynasty deals. And what do you got for me today, man? Am I going to be excited?
We got a lot. I'm glad that you are back at your real job. Speaking of your real job, so glad to see that. And everybody watching, we appreciate you tapping into another week of 40 Chess Dynasty Trades. If you want your deals featured on this show, patreon.com/South Harmon. $1 a month gets you in the door. You can put your trades in the Shithead Trades channel, have a chance to get on the trade show that we're doing. Speaking of which, Mike, this is the first week we're going to start doing 2 shows a week at your real job. We're happy to have you back because this is necessary. We need Iowa Michael if we're going to do 2 shows a week.
Oh, yeah,
so
I got to be here for that.
Oh, yeah. Have to be here for this. Glad you're here for it. If you don't want to join the Patreon, totally understandable. If you could just at least, if you're new to the channel, go down, hit the like, subscribe button, comment. Let us know, the trade show sucks. We think your grades of trades are terrible. Like, you guys playing best ball clearly because this is an awful grade. Whatever it is, we want to hear it. But without further ado, Mike, you know what we do? We start off with one of our own. So for the first one, we're going to start off with mine. For the second one, we're going to start off with yours. You ready to see what we did?
Yeah, what'd you do, man? I want to see this.
Let's take a peek, man. So this is a 12-team Superflex half PPR lineup start 9, Mike. Okay. So I am receiving Jahmyr Gibbs, the 106. So the 106 ends up being Jahmyr Gibbs. It goes to I want to shit on you, who is in he's in a full rebuild, right? He probably isn't ready till at least 2024, maybe 2025. So the 209 comes around, Mike. It's a tight end premium league. It's a 2X tight end premium. And I'm like, man, Sammy Laporta's there at 209.
Right.
I don't really want him when I have Kelsey and Pitts and I already have a stable, but I'm kind of
right.
I can't pass on him anymore. I have to take him. He's the best value on the board. So I did. And I had 2 teams that are in rebuilds hitting me up. And I'm like, you know what? What if I send Sam Laporta a 24 first, which, to be honest, this 24 first could be one of anything. Bills Mafia is a team that has contended, but is definitely worth betting against because of age. But also, if everything went right, it could be more mid to late, So that 24 first plus Sam Laporta and my 25 second for Jahmyr Gibbs is the deal we ended up getting done. Ken Adams was the other one who was interested in Sam Laporta. Raptor 1523 is just mean. And there we have it, Mike. So give me your thoughts, man.
Listen, I know the guy's name is I want to shit on you. And you didn't exactly shit on him because I see it from the other side. If I'm in 100%. a rebuild, Gibbs isn't going to do me anything. And he's going to
do one thing for you. He's going to score points.
Yep. He's going to score points. He's going to piss away his value for the next couple of years that I don't really want him on my team.
Right.
Sam Laporta, that's my guy. But Adam in a start 9 lineup league, you just take him because it's a value, because there's nothing else left. It's not like a guy I'm actively targeting, but on a rebuilder, I don't really care. I'm just trying to diversify assets. I'm trying to find like, man, maybe Sam Laporta becomes the next big thing at tight end, or he doesn't even have to get the big thing, but like get into that top 10 tier, that tier that always gets overvalued.
Flippability, right?
Have some name cachet. 25 seconds devalued because it's so far out, but I'm in a rebuild. I don't really care. And the 24 first, I'm just trying to stack future first assets to hit on.
That first is a wild card, right? Like, there's a scenario that 24 first is in the range of probably what Gibbs is worth if it plays right for you, right? And then you get Laporta and the 25 second is extra. Obviously, the reason you're getting the extras is because it's not locked in. But, man, Mike, it's one of those scenarios where like,
this is a perfect match. This is a yin and a yang. You guys fit perfectly because you both have the same not same direction, but the direction that makes this trade work.
Correct. I have a team that has Mahomes and Lamar, and I'm like, you know what? It's a lineup start 9 and it's half PPR. Like, I want Gibbs in this league, right? And he got Gibbs because he was thinking he was going to get JSN at 106, but he went at 105. So now all of a sudden, I'll tell you this much. I want to shit on you as a patron of ours. I let him basically explore offers for a whole day. I'm like, listen, man, if you get if you get an offer period that's worth you taking, I want you to take it and get the best thing for your team. And if you don't feel happy, I'll make something for you. And then Laporta was there at 209, and I had a chance the next day. I'm like, all right, man, I'll send it and see what we can do. So I think I'll say this. I think it makes sense for both sides. I think right now today, most people are going to look at this in this format and want Gibbs. And I think the league chat's telling you that that's the case. But I also think if you think about directions and you think that you're not ready to compete, like, are you really going to hold Jahmyr Gibbs and wait out like scenarios of him getting hurt? What if he doesn't smash early? What if Montgomery's taken 60-70% early? Not saying it will stay that way, but I'm talking like first few weeks of the season, right? There's just scenarios where you don't want to have Jahmyr Gibbs on that build. Now, there's a lot of time still. Like, you could have maybe waited a couple months and hopefully traded for more, but you also, I think, are netting enough value to at least keep the rebuild process that you have going. So I think that's why it works for both sides.
Well, I mean, we forget just because it feels like it was forever ago, but Adam, you remember in the off season, we weren't even in the season, man. We lost 3 promising young running backs that were highly drafted.
How could I forget?
People spent a lot of capital on, and for us, they were usually all 3 of them were on one of our teams. Just get kicked in the teeth over and over again. So you assume all the risk by holding on to Jahmyr Gibbs. Like, if a wide receiver, a young one like that does it, I mean, you can just look at J-Mo and how much people hate every time I dunk on J-Mo or, say I'd trade him for this. Like, they hold their value. The running back, Jahmyr Gibbs, has a, like, Travis Etienne, like, foot injury. All of a sudden, we're talking about a guy that, was going at the 106. Or, when I'm talking about it, I say I draft him at the 103. And now you're sitting there at the 202 in these really late rookie drafts. And the guy's still hanging out there. Like, I don't know. It's a foot injury on a running back. I don't like it. So it's a good move if you're a rebuilder. It's a good move if you're a contender. It's like the price you have to pay, though, to go try to get that difference maker. So
let me
not
tell you,
going to get a discount.
Let me give you one other piece, actually, I should probably give. Okay, so I am holding what is very likely a top 3 pick, right? Ken Adams has his pick. I want to shit on you. Kyle has his pick. There is a fight for the 1 spot.
They're all
the guy that I have is not by choice in the 1 spot consideration, right? But Ken Adams is not trying to do anything but get the 1, and so is Kyle. So there's also that jockeying for Caleb Williams happening right now. Jahmyr Gibbs, if you play fairly, which we all do, right? You're going to have to start him on a team that's as bad as these guys have. You don't want to have that happen when you're trying to get the 101.
No. You want to get that off your team, and it's not like he took less than what. I mean, maybe it's like 90%
a little bit
of what.
But also, it's also market, right? Like this
but
league.
Who the hell else is
this
offering?
This league doesn't have somebody that has the assets he wants, right? Because I still control some picks. Ken Adams has been hoarding picks. There's not a bunch of teams that just are sitting here like, hey, man, here's your 2 liquid first that gives us probably worth and value.
Right. Somebody else.
Nobody's offering that. You know what I mean?
Or like somebody else like tries to offer them, like say a random first, and then they always want to give them like a running back, and you're just like,
yes.
I don't know if you know me, man. I don't want one. I don't want this piece at all.
Mike, the other reason that 25 seconds in there is because I'd already used 3 other seconds on running backs, right? He doesn't want back Tank Bigsby. He doesn't want back these guys. Now, would he take it if that's all I had? Sure, and then he'd try to flip it. But the point is he wants to get those off of his team. So, anyway, let us know what you think. I thought it was a fair deal relative to the situation that was at play here. So, all right, Mike, let's look at deal number 2 here. So, speaking of deal number 2, it's actually 3 deals in one. And we got a shout out to the Sauvage semester, the Sauvage Tier. All right, Mike, we had team reviews while you were at school. I did a bunch of them this weekend. And Dr. B. Harris was the first one. 12-team Superflex PPR lineup, start 9. So he takes over this team. And, it's good enough to try to win now. Right? It's got Mahomes. It's got Kelsey. But it's not like sitting with a whole bunch of liquidity. It's not a team that has a bunch of depth. Even in lineup start 9, like we're talking about 3 of the spots where you're really iffy, So we're going to try to figure out how to make this team probably compete, but also be flexible if it doesn't work out that we can trade out. First thing we do, he's got Trey Lance, and we start looking at all the teams and who would be willing to take Trey Lance. I mean, Mike's not in the league because he would, but
yes.
So we scratched that off. We found a guy, Mike, that has the youth build. He's got all these 23 picks, right? He's 6 or 7 of them. We're he doesn't have a quarterback. Maybe he would bite on Trey Lance. So the crazy part, though, we get back his 24 first. And James Cook.
Why is he sending his pick away?
You know why? Because he probably thinks these 23 picks are going to make his team ready
Smash
to go.
Right out the gate.
Because everybody's thinking they're going to do that, right?
No.
Mike, this is how the whole thing snowballed, right? So we send just send that. Just send Trey Lance for a random 24 and just ask for James Cook back. If he drops it, cool. If you want that 24 first, that's the prize here. But, make him think he's getting Trey Lance here at a discount. Send him, ask for James Cook too. Deal gets done. We're on a 45-minute team review. Okay? So now, right, you send away Trey Lance. You got Mahomes, but you don't have a secure quarterback too. He has Pickett, some other players. I'm you know what, man? I like London a lot. But what if you sent London and Rachaad White for the 103? This team here doesn't really need a quarterback at 103. Boom. Yeah. Okay. Now all of a sudden you've got Bryce Young or A-Ritz, whatever it ended up being. One of these quarterbacks. It ended up being Bryce Young. So now all of a sudden he has Bryce Young at quarterback 2 instead of Trey Lance, right? He's got Kenny Pickett. He has a quarterback 4. I forget who it is, but solid enough. You can probably trade out of one of those two. You got off of Lance for an early, probably, 24 first. And James Cook, right? So James Cook and Rachaad White can net out here in this trade, right? When you look at it. So now you got the 24 first. You got the 103, which is going to be Bryce. So now you're feeling a lot better about your team probably having a chance to contend. So what do? You send your 106 for Davante Adams because in lineup start 9, Davante Adams is someone you really, really want.
If he's going to push for it, yes, that makes sense. But that is top dollar on that last one where it's
yeah, but
I'm going for it.
100%. So is that last trade a smash right now? No, but if you're sitting here telling me you want to try to compete because you don't have your 23 picks, right?
100%. Yep.
All of a sudden, man, that's going to be JSN probably.
And he's still
I like JSN. I like JSN, but if you tell me that it's 1-for-1 points per game, I want Adams by a lot.
He's still rocking his own 24 first and this one he acquired from this guy that's overconfident that all these 23 picks are going to make his team not dog shit.
And that's the best part, right? So Adams still can you trade out of Adams for 106 in the season? Probably. Not a lock. If he gets hurt or something, you lose that one, right? But this gives you a chance. This gives you a chance to do both. That last trade, right? It gives you a chance to have your cake and eat it too. Because if Adams ends up playing well, your team can probably push some of those 24 picks in and actually win because you got Mahomes, you got Kelsey, you got Adams, right? You have other players on this team that can work. So, but if your team's not ready to go, you can sell some of these older pieces that are devalued now, but in the season, they're going to get a value bump. You move on from them and you have these 24 picks. You can end up with 3 or 4 24s and kind of reset this thing while still keeping Patrick Mahomes. So that was the idea in the team review. What is your thoughts, Mike? Give us your thoughts on all three.
The first two trades make 1,000% sense to me. Like, I'm in. I would do those. From the leverage when you have the context of that 24 first as well. Just on the surface, 24 first, a random one in James Cook. I'm going to tell you, I'll take Trey Lance. Like, I'm good, man. Like, I'm going to bet on the quarterback.
If it was early, would you?
That's why I say if it's just random.
Okay. Random. Yeah, I got you. Yep.
If it's just random, I'm going to bet on the quarterback.
I'll take Trey Lance there, too, if it's random. I'm with you.
The second one, Drake London, Rachaad White for a quarterback.
Lineup start 9?
Yeah, I'm taking the quarterback easily. The last one is the only one I have a problem with, and that's the one, like me personally, I wouldn't do. Okay. I'm gonna sit on that 106. And like, you make me take a player, I'm gonna take it because it's gonna be Gibbs or it's gonna be JSN or might be CJ Stroud, another quarterback, if somebody wants to be that dumb. And I'm gonna get a Javonte Adams type, but it's just not gonna be right now. Like, I'll wait till September if I have to. That's the only one I wouldn't do it. If I was going to do it now, I need some leverage coming back where it's like I upgrade a second. Like, I trade my second away in 24 and get another 24 first back. Like, I need some sort of leverage here where I get a 2-for-1. I'm not doing it 1-for-1. But that's the only one I have a problem with. But if you hit the first two out of the fucking park, then you can get a little squirrely with the third one. You know what I mean?
For sure. And I mean, let's just put all the cards on the table too. A couple things. One, these trades didn't all get accepted at the same time. And here's the thing. His team is good enough when you look at this league, especially with Mahomes and Kelsey, even if you said Pickett, Lance, before all these trades. Like, it's very reasonable he can try to contend. So if you tell me, like, the other two trades don't get done, Adams probably, for me, on a team that you're trying to contend for, is worth the 106. The only difference would be, can you get 106 traded for more? To your point, I think probably it could happen. But when I look at the trades and the way that teams are built, I didn't see really a scenario of that happening. Not meaning that it couldn't. So these were all actually sent out 1-for-1, and then they all got done. So, like, when the first one went through, it's like more on the line of, okay, we're just going to try to contend.
Right.
Because that's what he wanted to do with his team. And then all these happen, and now, like, you're smashing regardless. Even if you thought Adams, let's say Adams is a loss here. Like, let's say Adams is a value loss. Like, you get a points per game edge, albeit aging, and if he gets hurt, like, you lose big time on that trade. Right?
Yes. Yep.
But it's a risk worth taking, I think, in lineup start 9 because he is a difference maker in full PPR. But, man, when you get back the other two trades, goodness, man. Like, he's now sitting on a totally different team than he was a couple days ago. Like, this team is going to be something to mess with when he starts trading.
And to be honest, the leverage piece is really holding Ricky Dicky Grimes is
100%, man.
The best piece of advice I can give to everybody who's watching this: don't rely on rookies to change your dynasty team in 1 year. Adam, you and I have done it in startups in the past, and it never works.
And you know what, though? Can I tell you what? On team reviews, for everyone watching, patreon.com/South Harmon, I look for stuff like that, Mike. Like, I look for a team that says, you know what? I'm so ready for picks this year that he's got all of them and he has no extras in 24. This is a guy that thinks he's ready to go. Try it, man. Like, I know this deal when I sent it off is not one that I would accept on the other end, but it's like trying to read the manager and say, I think this guy thinks all this youth is ready to help him win now. Okay, you make that bet. I'll take your 24. Here's Trey Lance. Like, that's a simple one. And sometimes just being able to see stuff like that helps a deal like that get done. I thought overall these are all, like, if you combine them, right? Like, if you told me right now, early 24 first, 103, and Davante Adams, would you rather have that, Mike, or the 106, Drake London, Rachaad White, and Trey Lance?
Yeah, I'm going to take the early pick, the 103, the two early picks, and Davante Adams if you combine all three deals together.
And I forgot and I didn't even say when I said all that, James Cook also comes to you to basically swap out Rachaad White. Like, they're even for me, right?
Yeah, I mean, in a lineup start 9, they're just kind of the same dude, right? You just got a body that you may or may not get to actually push the button on during the season. Depends on how comfortable you feel, right? This guy got an approach. It's a running back on a 53.
I'm in. Yep. So there you go. That was the first team review that we had. We had 4 of them that night, but let me get into another one here, Mike. So when we're looking at this, so now we got Dan Xbox, 12-team Superflex, half PPR lineup start 9. again, right? Okay, so this is an interesting one, Mike. So I look at his team, and I'm like, yeah, it's good. But he had traded his 24 first away, and I'm like, dude, why'd you do that? Like, how's it already gone? He traded away for Taylor, and he was defending it, and I get it. But I'm like, man, when I look at your team, like, I'm not guaranteed in your format that this 24 first is not going to be early. And I'm looking who has it, and I'm like, this ain't Mike, but it's, Mike Jr. Like, you are not getting this back, right? So now we're playing a chess game of how do we get his team more ready to compete so that we aren't looking at this 24 first being early and now you kind of screwed this whole thing up. Like, someone messed your hair up, right? And you came into the barbershop and you're like, all right, Adam, like, this hair looks terrible. I need you to fix it. Okay, let's see what we can do. So, Mike, this is where the poll came from on Twitter. He's got J-Mo and Watson sitting there. And, like, lineup start 9. His lineup start 9 or 10. I'm pretty sure it's 9. Either way, like, shallow lineup league. I like Watson. We talked about this on AMA earlier. But him and J-Mo, flex maybe, right? In this format, maybe. Half PPR too. Half PPR is a big thing.
Right.
And I'm like, I don't know, man. Like, I think these are pieces you can move. You don't have a lot of depth. You don't have your pick. Like, let's see if we can go get 105 from this guy. He took it. He was fighting me tooth and nail too. This is the only offer we'd made at the time, and he took it pretty quickly. So initially, he had 101, which he wants to use on Bijan. And I was basically telling him beforehand, like, I don't know if your team's ready for this, right? Now that this trade went through, we had totally different ammo to fix it so he could possibly still take Bijan Robinson. So now that he has 105, we go to the TLaw owner, okay? And they almost screwed this up, by the way. We sent an offer out. It was Trey Lance, 201, 105, and I think it was a different player than Burks. And the other side, Debo 9, basically said, I want Burks back. And I left to go piss. You guys, if you watch the stream, I have a 96-year-old bladder. I'm going for 4 minutes, Mike. And they countered back without the 105.
Oh.
Trey Lance, Treylon Burks, 201, and some other 301.
Easy.
And I come back and I say, what have y'all done? This man is not accepting that trade. We're talking about Trevor Lawrence. Like, right. He sent this to them. And they countered back for that. I'm like, listen, Dan, you got to swallow your pride. I fat-fingered that. I meant to hit accept. Send it back. We got it done. But here's the point here, Mike, right? So you lose Trey Lance, you lose Burks, you lose J-Mo and Watson, right? 201 as well. But here's the thing. Mike, give me a world in a lineup league, half PPR, where it's start 9, where you're getting Trevor Lawrence for J-Mo, Christian Watson, Treylon Burks, Trey Lance, and 201.
Right. Just a bunch of pieces together.
It's not happening. So now here's the thing that he has, right? He's got elite quarterbacks. He can take Bijan at 101. He's got Taylor. He does have some flex options that he needs to figure out, but I would much rather be in that situation in a lineup start 9. And even if your team fails now, you have the quarterback spot locked up, which is the most important thing in this league.
He does. And if he's going to use Bijan, he needed that desperately to have that in play already and just build around quarterbacks, Bijan, fill in the pieces. And he's going to need to fill in the pieces with wide receivers that really make a difference, right? Not just this kind of tier of wide receivers where, like, I like J-Mo, I like Christian Watson, I like Treylon, but they're just kind of guys, you know what I mean? The 105, if that's, JSN, that's another one on the fire. You know what I mean? Just another, like, okay, like, right. Hopefully I get something out of them. I will say the only way, like, if you did this trade as a whole, Adam, like you asked, like, what world would the scenario be? Even with these league settings, there are certain teams where I will just completely divest from one asset. You want to give me 4, 5 good, decent enough wide receivers, or even in this case, if you just take the 3 receivers and you say the 105 is like Bryce Young or CJ Stroud, I will do it because I will just divest myself. Like, I will de-risk myself, take multiple assets, and if 1 or 2 of them even come close to Trevor Lawrence, I smash the piss out of you in that trade. Like I obliterated you. But I need one of those quarterbacks to hit, like to approach that top 12 territory, which may or may not. And that's a discussion about whether you think, CJ Stroud or Trey Lance could ever do that. But I can see a world if this was one whole trade and I'm on the other side of it and going like I'm not really competing. Trevor Lawrence is fantastic. I know I hold the hammer, but this is the kind of offer that I like. This is where I start at. I probably finesse more or try to get better tier of player, but this is where I start at least.
Now, if you were going to do it as a whole trade, though, like 105 comes out. So, like, let's say it's a whole trade and it's TLaw for J-Mo, Christian Watson, Treylon Burks, 201, and Trey Lance. Would you take that in lineup start 9? That's the question. Now, to your point, we can ask it in two ways. Let's ask the first one. Would you send away your Trevor Lawrence in a lineup start 9 half PPR for J-Mo, Watson, Treylon 201, and Trey Lance?
But the 105 is going to be in there as well, right?
No. The 105 is netted for these players. That's what I'm going to ask you that second. If it's in totality, J-Mo and Christian Watson and the 105 net out, right? So for the side that I'm sending away, really, because it's a 2 trade, scratch that. J-Mo, Watson. I'll ask you that in the second one, okay?
I see what you're saying. Yep, I see.
J-Mo, Watson, Trey Lance, Treylon Burks, and the 201 for your Trevor Lawrence. Would you take that in lineup start 9?
No, there's no way.
Because that's what Xbox gets back for what he sent away, right? Playing 40 chess. Now,
no way in hell I did that.
Now, I will admit it's probably a little closer. I still wouldn't do it, but let's ask it again on Debo 9's side. Would you take Trey Lance, Treylon Burks, 201 and 105 for your Trevor Lawrence?
Probably no.
Thank you, because I wouldn't either. And the only reason this happened, though, is by looking through teams, seeing what they take their offers of, going through a team review and seeing this out and saying, how do we get what you need and how do we see what other teams are looking for, and let's make that go to them. So anyway, the point is, now his 24 first being gone isn't as detrimental to his team. He gets to keep Bijan. He has JT. There's a chance that his team is really, really good. And even if it's not, he has 2 anchor quarterbacks in elite range. So I like it for Xbox quite a bit, even though he fought me a lot on this, both those trades to get them done. All right. The Who's 12-team Superflex lineup start 10. It's half-point PPR, and it's a full-point tight end premium. So he's receiving Mark Andrews and David Montgomery. He's sending away Cole Kmet, Javonte Williams, his own 24 first, and he's sending away his 25 third. Mike, what do you think here, man? By the way, he's putting up here defending champ picks, so he won last year. We don't know his lineup.
Half PPR, but a full point for the tight end premium. So, I mean, it's double. It's double. It'd be like if you played in a 2-point tight end premium on a normal PPR league.
Right. It's 2x exactly.
Cole Kmet and a first for Mark Andrews is a smash out of the park. So nailed it. To trade away Javonte, like I'd rather have Javonte than Monty.
Yes,
at
I
this
agree.
Point, even with the Javonte like injury concerns, I'd still rather have him, and I think the community would rather have him. But I smashed it so damn hard on the Cole Kmet in the first.
What you lose on Javonte in the third makes up for it.
Right. It's his pick. He's the defending champ. He's running it back and now making his team even better at the tight end position and having that advantage in a start 10 league. Yeah, like I'm cool. I'll go down to Monty. Just give me another body at running back. And if it takes my 25 third to sweeten the pot and get the deal over the finish line, I'm in.
I mean, if you've already done your draft, we got 26 thirds too. If you want my 26 third, hit me up. I'll send you my 26 third for any deal that means anything. Mike, think about it though. If you won your league, right, and you add Mark Andrews, lineup start 10, that's crazy, right? And also, if you won your league, Javonte Williams didn't do anything for you. I don't need Javonte probably on this team, but I get Mark Andrews. Whatever the difference for anyone watching, which I'm not saying, Mike and I agree, like we'd rather have Javonte in a vacuum, add the third. Whatever that cost is in this format to go get Andrews, I think is well made up. If anyone disagrees, put it in the comments, but thanks for flexing.
Big
Blitz.
flex.
Thanks for flexing,
Big flex.
Blitz. I know we didn't spend a lot of time on it, but there's not much to discuss. Speaking of Javonte, goat rings out here. 10 teams, Superflex, PPR, start 10, Mike. What do you say here? Which Bronco do you want, Jerry, Jeudy, or Javonte?
Which current Bronco that's still on the team? For now. I'll take Jerry Jeudy easily. I'll de-risk myself. I know I just talked about I want Javonte over Monty, but
right. I'm with you.
Give me Jerry Jeudy. Give me Jerry Jeudy. I'll write out the whole Sean Payton better. Russell Wilson. At this point, I almost call him Russell Westbrook.
Can we admit
it feels the same?
Can we admit at least though to everybody watching that 8-10 months ago we would have fought
yes
on the other side. So we'll at least admit that part. But
how far we've come.
Today is not. I don't think it's that close again. So
and because it's a 1-for-1, I don't know. Is there even a scenario where you get the other side half PPR maybe?
Maybe
just
I guess here's what I would say, right? Because it is only a start 10 and it's 10 team. That's the only thing is I like Jeudy a lot. I would say you and I put him in the top 25 receiver mix, certainly
in the ballpark. I mean, at the worst, you're looking at one of those guys that falls in that 24 to 36 range, where you go they're kind of all the same. You know what I mean?
Right, like Jeudy, Ayuk, McLaurin types, Godwin types, right? Kind of
for some reason, Michael Pittman's in that range too. I don't understand that.
Right, but Pittman, we hate him, but Hollywood Brown, for a lot of people,
right.
they fit this same mold.
That's where Christian Watson should be.
But he's not.
He's not.
Everyone thinks I hate Christian Watson, but it's just that he's not valued appropriately. Anyway, that's a different discussion. Point is, 10 team, start 10. I could see where you're you know what, I don't need Jeudy.
Right.
And I'm going to just kind of know that I'm sinking my teeth into Javonte and hoping that I have a hammer when he's ready to go. Right. I wouldn't do that. I would not do that. I'm just saying that
no.
If you're going to tell yourself the story on the other side, I could see where it comes in, especially in 10 team, because if it's a 10 team league, Mike, and we're starting 10, Jeudy probably becomes on the edge of is he actually worth starting week in and week out?
On teams that are contending, right?
On good
real
teams,
contenders.
Correct. On good teams.
The real contenders, yes.
Exactly. So the reason I say that is if I had a team that had 4 receivers well ahead of Jeudy, I wouldn't do it, but I could see where someone buys into the old Javonte hype and says, I don't need Jeudy in a league like this. So I'm going to try to create the R Cope 1023. And let me say this. Goat Rings, I have not seen this name. So I'm proud of you for the trade, and you got somebody else this time. Good for you.
You can get a different one.
It wasn't Black Scooby. 12-team Superflex PPR lineup start 10. Mike, C Smooth is getting CeeDee Lamb in the 307. Sending away a lot of pieces. 110, Bateman, Akers, and Ridley. Lineup start 10, full PPR. What do you like?
Bunch of junk. It shouldn't be that hard. In a start 10, they're just more junky. You know what I mean?
I'll say this. I think Akers absolutely could be a starter, but at the same point, value-wise, who cares?
Right. Easily replaceable.
Fair?
Easily replaceable, yep.
There's a very good chance with them not drafting Zach Evans till round 6 that Akers is you want to start him week in and week out, but who cares? You could probably replace him with, name your running back, right? You could probably do that.
The best way to describe this trade, Adam, is if this isn't a lineup start 10, I'm smashing the piss out of the CeeDee Lamb side and I'm taking the up tier. You can take all these pieces, you have fun with it. But this is on the other side. We just got off the AMA when people were like, "Oh, you wouldn't do this in a best ball league." 100% go on the other side, and I'll take the 4.
Mike, can you say try me?
Yeah, try me. I will do it. In a lineup
Damn it! I love what I'm hearing right now. In
a lineup league, it's junky with the 4 pieces. I'm just no.
Because here's the thing: these pieces are all super suspect to bet on at this point. Now,
all of them.
Now, if you're the Bojack Swagard side, whatever, like Acre smashes, Ridley ends up being the alpha, Bateman comes back and is the alpha. Like, is there a scenario where that side wins? Sure, but that's not the bet to make in this league format, right?
That's not the process I want to play out. Right?
Exactly.
Like, I don't want to do that over and over and over.
110's probably Kincaid or I don't
Zay
even know. Zay Flowers, maybe not even. Like he could be gone. Sharps.
A-Chain, yeah. Like, no, I'm good, man. In a start 10 lineup league.
Y'all got it.
I'll
take CD. And here's the thing, right? I think CD. Can I tell you what I think is the problem for CD in these leagues?
Dak Prescott.
Well,
people hate him.
We didn't have to get that direct to Cowboys people. Jeez, Mike. No, I think that CD is gonna be traded for typically so much more than this. People that have CD want almost the price of Chase and Jefferson.
Right.
And in this league, I'm not paying that for CD Lamb.
No.
Now, in this scenario, if you tell me I can get off a dog shit in 110, sure. Like, I'll take CD Lamb, and you don't even have to give me 307. I could care less. I'll take it if you give it to me, but like,
I like that just gets snuck in there too. Like, hey,
maybe you get your Tucker Craft, and then you got a little piece to float to somebody else. You know,
right? You get to do this all over again next year when you up tier.
Jeez, here's your extra piece. All right, I need to get out of here with this trade. This is hurting me. All right, last trade here, Mike. Red Pill Stepdad just joined the Patreon today. Had to make sure we gave a shout out to him. Mike, this is a spicy one though. 101 to 102, right? But you pick up Jordan Love, 12-team Superflex tight end premium lineup start 10. I'm so curious, man. I want to know your thoughts.
I'm not the biggest Jordan Love fan, but he's a starting quarterback. He's a starting quarterback, so in Superflex he matters.
That he is.
Matters. The 101's a great pick, man, but what have I said forever and I haven't changed it? I love picking at 102 because I make the guy at 101 make the choice for me. You take Bijan? Great, I'll take A-Rich. You take A-Rich? I'll take Bijan. Thank you. And I just move on with my life, and you give me something extra. Those two guys are interchangeable, and you and I can argue about who you take at 101 till we're blue in the face. But, Adam, I think even you would agree, like, I'm good. Just give me the 102 and give me something has some value.
Can I tell you why I like it? And I know it's not your process, but for me, right, like when I don't know what Red Pill Stepdad's team's like, but I think a lot of times the problem becomes you don't have enough quarterbacks in a lineup start 10 league. And you're like, man, if I take Bijan, like, yeah, maybe he smashes, but like, is my team actually going to matter enough for him to do that, right? And that's the biggest problem at 101. Like, not to mention tradability and the positional value of quarterback, right? But just that in of itself is so hard to do. So if you're like, you know what, man, I'll go to 102 and I'll let you pick, but I get Jordan Love. See, here's what's so key to me. If that person decides to take a quarterback, I got Bijan, but now I have see, when you trade in this type of a format, lineup start 9, lineup start 10, when you want to go get a quarterback, a lot of times what has to happen? It's the Ray thing. I need to get a quarterback back. Yes. Like most people won't give you, and this is my problem with Bijan, like he's not going to get you, even with a plus, to the table of elite quarterbacks because no other quarterbacks are coming back. And no one's like, yeah, I just have Josh Allen to trade away. Yeah, I just have, Trevor Lawrence to trade away.
Out.
Yeah, that's the biggest problem. Now you do get, even if you get Bijan at 102, which if that was 101 or 102 for you, it doesn't matter. That's what you got. You got Jordan Love that you can try to go package up now. That's totally different than just taking Bijan at 101, right? And if you end up getting A-Rich here, now you got two quarterbacks to try to toy with and see what you can get back at running back a lot cheaper. I like this so much for that side personally. And I'll tell you this, I hate Jordan Love relative to the community, but I still love this trade a lot more for Red Pill Stepdad. So I'm
listen, you know how much I love the QB Horde in Superflex. Like I do. And we have discussed on this show through our trades. We've discussed on AMAs. We've discussed on 40 Chess. Everything about the QB Horde, Adam. And what's the one thing people always say? Like, what if your league bands together and won't cave to the QB Horde?
Good.
Adam, you're in leagues with me. You're in leagues with me where, like, I have 2 QB hordes that have been going on, and I have not traded a single quarterback. I have not traded a single one. And, Adam, I bet if you go into those leagues right now, you're like, man, Mike's still doing all right. He still hasn't traded any quarterbacks. We're right back in the same position we are. And I had some junky quarterbacks that are worth nothing now. But
yeah, it's that old.
I'm still the guy that's got 5 or 6, and when you need it, you still got to come.
It's that old Will Ferrell line. Good. More for me and you. Me and you. And
what an idiot!
What an idiot! That was
a great deal.
I think it was a great way to finish because you know what I think. I think a lot of people they're troubled to trade back a spot because they don't really know what to ask for and what to get. And I think that's a decent one because someone that's been sitting on Jordan Love is probably itching to get off of Jordan Love, right?
Right.
But you can pick that up as an extra piece, and it's a quarterback that means enough in tradability that might get you something more secure. I really like that. That was craftful. Way to come in and flex for a new patron here. Speaking of new patrons, if you do want your deals featured on the show, patreon.com/South Harmon. $1 a month gets you in the door. Mike, I thought these were really good deals. What did you think today? These were 7 deals today.
They're good deals, man. And the people are listening to you, plugging away every single episode. They're going down to the description. They're hitting the button. They're hitting the link and clicking because we get so many new patrons in this last couple of weeks. I'm going, holy hell. Holy hell, that welcome channel where the Discord bot tells you there's a new person in the Discord. That's been popping off. And, hey, you got to come in and flex your deals right away. I'm all for it.
Listen, man, we're building an army. There's no draft, but we're building an army. There's a draft though in Superflex leagues, which is probably happening for your teams right now. I'm seeing picks still leveraged here. Mike, how long until the days are that we don't actually see the pick numbers anymore and it's just player names? That's what I was going to get to and ask you.
I give it 1 month, and then it'll just be.
I'm with you.
It'll be a player.
We get to June and it's probably gone, right? Okay.
Some people are still waiting to fire up their drafts. You know, we got a couple that are straggling behind. I last year complained profusely about those ones that are drafting in like June or July. Right. I'm like, come on.
My latest one is May, I think 20th, and
it's end of the month.
Yeah, so I think by June the pick numbers will be gone. It's just players, which the leverage piece will be gone, which is kind of sad. But then we go back to generics and betting against people. So I'm excited for that. Mike, I don't know when you're ready to do it, but I know we've discussed it on here a lot. If you're ready to talk best ball, and we had just on AMA someone vehemently telling us that we don't know what we're doing in best ball, let's talk best ball and let's do it here and let's do some live streams. Best ball underdog. If you've never done underdog before, underdog fantasy football, use our promo code 40chess. If you put $10 in, you get 10 back. You put 100 in, you get 100 back. $100 up to deposit match back. Plus, we get to show you best ball strategy, draft with you, and show you how depth is important, but also win you back on that 100 you got. Plus, you got a free 100, and we're just going to help you win. So, excited to do those here in the future pretty soon here, Mike, now that you're back to your full-time job.
Let's go, man. I'm ready to do those on live stream, live airs, live drafts. We'll talk through the whole thing. So you want to get in, you want to try to draft with us, you want to try to snipe us, it's a perfect way to do it. We'll put it out there, the youthful spirit. See if we can't fill that lobby up real quick, too, when we put the tweet out there.
Let's do it, man.
People coming to try to snipe the hell out of us.
You know, we got the best ball mania. We got some crazy things going on Underdog. Big money out there if you want to try to go up against the best, if you think that Mike and I don't know what we're doing with tear downs and whatnot. So I'm excited to do that. But other than that, Mike, that's all I got. Anything you want to plug before we get out of here?
No, that's all I got, buddy. Just keep tuning in, and engagement's huge for us. Like Adam said at the start, even if you hate it, let us know you hate it. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe if you're not already subscribed, tweet, share it. Let's get it out to the people, man. I just love talking Dynasty deals, and this is what this show's all about, and that's what we keep doing, and that's why we're also doing 2 of them a week now, it seems.
Speaking of that, I'm glad you did say that at the end, because I hope you guys are having a great weekend, but make sure you're tapping in some point this week. I think it's going to end up being Wednesday. You'll get a second trade show, which will drop to you weekly. So Saturday mornings is awesome, but you also get a Wednesday premiere 40 chess Dynasty Trade Show. Now that Mike is back and off of the crazy night schedule and he's not doing classes, we're going to start bringing content to you as we gear up for the NFL season. So appreciate you guys tapping in. Hope you're having a great weekend. We will see you back here, same time, same place next week on Saturday morning for the Dynasty Trade Show. We're out of this thing. Peace.